Hello students, I am Sally Quadros Icutino from Government College, KPM. Today we'll be dealing with plastids under the Unit 2, Cell and its components. What we are going to do is we'll learn what is a plastid, what are the types of plastids and the function of different types of plastids. And we shall learn the terms. We'll learn the different types, we'll differentiate the different types of plastids and also describe the functions of the plastids. Now, if we see here in the image, you can see the living cell with small structures, what we call as plastids. Plastids are double membrane bound, self-replicating, they can multiply, self-replicating cell organelles found in the cytoplasm of cells of plants, algae, and a few other eukaryotes. It was A.F. W. Skimper who first defined and classified them according to the pigments and the structure and the function. Plastids, they have their own DNA. They have ribosomes which help in protein synthesis. And they differ in their size. They range from 2 to 10 microns in diameter. And what do? They help by being sites for manufacture and the storage of important chemical compounds in the plants. Plastids have the ability to absorb sunlight and also convert this light energy into chemical energy. Now let us classify plastids. Plastids are actually formed from proplastids in the cytoplasm which already exist. So proplastids are actually seen in the meristematic tissue which are undifferentiated plastids. Now they are classified broadly into 3 types: the chromoplast, the leucoplast and the chloroplast. Now here we have the ethioplast. If we see here, ethioplasts are actually developed and they change their form into chloroplast and back again chloroplast into ethioplast. We'll come back to that. But if you go further on, leucoplasts are further classified into 3 types: the amyloplast, the elioplast and the proteidoplast. Now proplastids, I said, are undifferentiated. They are found in the meristematic cells and these develop into plastid and different types depending upon the needs of the cell. If a leaf is grown in darkness, the proplastid will enlarge and it will form ethioplast. But if there is sunlight, it will develop into a chloroplast. So now, if we see here, proplastids, they form plastids, which if they are formed in darkness, they will be formed as ethioplast. Otherwise, if there's sunlight, they will form chloroplast. And vice versa if the plant is in shade or darkness or light. Depending upon that, they will interchange into their different types. So we come back to the ethioplast. Ethioplasts are large plastids, which actually you see here, they are not differentiated. They don't have a well-developed structure. But you can see the prolamellar body, the central, and some extensions like which are prothylakoids. Now here, these develop when they are formed in absence of light. Green pigment is lost and the membrane becomes disorganized. And these, if they are chloroplasts, they will change or turn into ethioplast. The inner membranes are all arranged like semi-crystalline body, and then we have the extensions which are prothylakoids. So what pigment do they have? Ethioplasts, they have the prochlorophyll, that is a yellowish color precursor. It's a pigment, and you see there are no thylakoids or ribosomes in ethioplast. They occur in dividing cells or meristematic cells. And what is the function? They form chloroplasts when they are exposed to light, and they are found in angiosperms. But if they are in darkness, you will see them formed again from the chloroplast, and there is conversion of the chloroplast into ethioplast and vice versa. Now let us go to chloroplast. Chloroplasts consist of plastids which have green color pigment. So we have the blue-green, what we call as chlorophyll A, and the yellowish green or the greenish yellow one, which is called chlorophyll B. They are well developed. They have thylakoids inside, RNA, DNA, ribosomes, well developed cell organelle, and they occur in green leaves and green algae. What is the function of chloroplasts? They are the main cell organelles that help in photosynthesis. And with the help of the chlorophyll pigment, they are able to capture the energy from light and convert it. And they store this energy in chemical form as ATP and NADPH molecules. And when this process is going on of conversion of light energy, we see oxygen and water being released by the plants. Now we go back to plastids, that is the chloroplast. The chromoplast. The chromoplast, they have different types of pigments. Now, if they are yellow color, we call that pigment as xanthophyll, which is normally seen in flowers and the fruits. Then we have the orange, what we call as carotenoids. We see in carrot very prominently. Then in tomatoes, we see a pigment lycopene, which is red in color. Fucoxanthin, which is brown in color, you see it in sargassum algae. Then we have the phoerythrin, which is found in the red algae, that is Polysiphonia, for example. And these are needle-shaped, small, tiny structures which store this lycopene red pigment or maybe brown pigment. So all colored pigments, these plastids we call as chromoplasts. And their function is to prepare the colored pigments or the colored compounds and store them for different purposes. Now they occur, I said, in different petals and different fruits. You'll see they're colored because of chromoplasts, and this is to help them attract pollinators and dispersal of seeds, to attract the agents there. We have the leucoplasts, which are they are colorless, and they are located in non-photosynthetic pigments of the plants, such as roots, like potato. Then we have the sweet potato. Then we have the underground stem, that is the potato. We have the bulbs like the onion, rice, nuts, the pulses, the cereals, the different seeds, in other words. You don't find any thylakoids or ribosomes in leucoplasts. So leucoplasts exist like this in the cell. They are plastids, but they exist like this in cells. They are colorless. And then we have the classification of leucoplasts. They are of 3 types depending upon what they prepare and what they store. So we have the rice grains and the potato, where there is amyloplasts. That is, they have lots of starch in them. Aleoplasts, which have oils in them, and then of course the proteinoplasts, which have proteins, where we can see here grams and we can see bins. We can, in other words, the pulses which have them. Like if you take a single one amyloplast, you see like this, and we see concentric circles here, deposition of the starch takes place, and this pigment is actually colorless, so no photosynthesis can take place here, and they occur in embryonic and germ cells and cereals. Like we already said, rice. The function is to store the starch. If we take aleoplasts, we have aleoplasts, you see in the coconut, we see it's colorless, no thylakoids and ribosomes. Found in groundnut, we find them coconut and other seeds which produce or have oil in them. So they store oil and lipids. Proteinoplasts, which are colorless. These plastids some of the color may remain there. but they have a few thylakoids, and they contain crystalline bodies of proteins. They are found in pulses, lentils, and peanuts. What they do is they store protein, and they serve as a site for certain enzymatic activities. You can see here how they are concentrated here. So in the cells, they are concentrated. Another important thing about plastids is the interconversion. They can convert from one form to another depending upon different factors, like for example the light color and the intensity of light. We see the color changing every time in the leaf, or maybe a fruit changes color, and that is because of the environmental factors. So chromoplasts, amyloplasts can become chloroplasts. And we see in carrot, in potato, when they illuminated, how they turn greenish in color. Now, what is the role of these pigments in the plastids? They help in absorbing light, and they help in photosynthesis. They absorb violet light, they absorb red light, but they reflect the green light, giving plants their green color. So they are actually light absorbing pigments which are found in pigments in the plastids. And then if we brush up, we have the chromoplasts, which are storing colored pigments, the chloroplasts, which help in photosynthesis, ethioplasts, which are forming the chloroplast or the precursors for the chloroplast, leucoplast, which stores the food, different types of food. Accordingly, they are classified. Aminoplast stores starch, elioplast stores oil, proteinoplast stores and modifies different proteins. These are some references for you, and we have the web references. Thank you.